Listen, there's something you need to understand, and I'm going to say it like it is: stop being nice to women. Now, I'm not talking about being kind or respectful, because you should always be those things. What I'm talking about is being overly nice. Being the guy who's so caught up in trying to please that you forget to stand your ground. You think being nice is going to win her over, right? You think if you just play it safe, put her needs first, and say everything she wants to hear, she'll be impressed. But guess what? That's not how it works. Women are strong, independent, and they see through that. They want a man who knows who he is. A man who doesn't compromise his values just to get approval. A man who isn't afraid to challenge, to push boundaries, to set expectations. Let me tell you this: you're not going to earn respect by bending over backward. You're not going to gain admiration by letting your own identity disappear in the process. You're not going to get anywhere by being a yes man. That's not strength. That's insecurity. You have to own your space. Be bold. Be assertive. You show who you are. And if she doesn't appreciate that, it's her loss. But here's the real truth. If you want respect, if you want admiration, if you want her to actually see you, you've got to stop being nice and start being real. Be authentic. Be unapologetically you. Because when you do that, you stop chasing validation and start attracting the right kind of person into your life. So stop trying to please. Stop pretending to be someone you're not. Stop compromising your own worth. Stand tall. Be bold. Be the man you're meant to be, and everything else will fall into place. That's how you deliver a powerful message with conviction, no fluff, just straight talk. You know, there's a crucial point I want you to understand, and it's at the heart of everything that truly matters in life. Stop overcompensating. I'm talking about the way so many of us go through life, trying to please others, trying to fit into someone else's expectations. We believe that if we just do enough, say the right things, and constantly put others before ourselves, that's how we'll earn their respect, their admiration, their love. But let me tell you right now, this mentality is flawed, and it's time you let go of it. The truth is, overcompensating only leaves you exhausted, resentful, and with a sense of self-worth that's tied to external validation instead of internal strength. You see, when you spend your time trying to please others, when you twist yourself into a shape that doesn't fit, you lose yourself in the process. You're living for someone else, following a script that's not yours, just to get a smile, a compliment, or a pat on the back. But ask yourself, is that really worth it? Is the effort worth sacrificing your own identity? When you're constantly overcompensating for someone else's approval, you're not allowing yourself to grow. You're not allowing yourself to evolve into the person you were meant to be. And the worst part is, you never truly feel fulfilled, because deep down, you know that the version of you that's being accepted isn't even the real you. It's a version that was tailored to fit someone else's idea of what you should be. But here's the deal, people, especially women, don't need you to change who you are to gain their respect or affection. They don't need you to be a doormat, bending over backward, sacrificing your happiness for theirs. That's not attractive. That's not powerful. What's powerful is someone who knows their worth, someone who isn't afraid to stand firm in their convictions, someone who says, this is who I am, and if you don't respect that, then it's your loss, not mine. That's strength. That's a person who understands that their own well-being is just as important as anyone else's. That's the kind of person who earns true respect, not by trying to please everyone around them, but by being unapologetically themselves. Think about it. When you stop overcompensating, you give yourself the space to breathe, to grow, and to attract people who genuinely see and appreciate you for who you are. You don't have to try so hard to be someone you're not just to gain approval. Instead, you attract those who are aligned with your values, your energy, and your vision for the future. You start surrounding yourself with people who elevate you, challenge you, and support you for the right reasons, not because you're jumping through hoops to gain their favor. And let me tell you something else: overcompensating doesn't just affect your relationships with others. It affects your relationship with yourself. Every time you go out of your way to make someone else happy at the expense of your own needs, you're telling yourself that you're not enough as you are. You're telling yourself that your voice, your desires, your feelings don't matter as much as someone else's. And that's a dangerous message to send to yourself. Because if you don't believe in your own worth, if you don't value your own needs, then how can you expect anyone else to? Now, I'm not saying you should stop being considerate, stop being kind, or stop being a good person. But there's a difference between being kind and overcompensating. Being considerate means you care for others without sacrificing your own well-being. It means finding a balance between giving and receiving, but overcompensating is one-sided. It's about giving all of yourself without expecting anything in return, until eventually there's nothing left of you. That's not sustainable, and that's not how you build real, meaningful connections with people. When you stop overcompensating, you take back control of your life. You get to decide what's important to you. You get to decide what's worth your time and energy. And you get to protect your own peace. This is about reclaiming your personal power. It's about learning to say no when you need to, even if that means disappointing someone. It's about standing up for your values and not compromising them just to keep someone else happy. And let me tell you something, when you start doing that, people will start respecting you more. Not because you've done everything for them, but because you've shown them that you value yourself enough to stand firm in your boundaries. It's not easy to stop overcompensating. It's not easy to stop trying to please others, especially when it's been ingrained in us for so long. We've been conditioned to think that we have to bend ourselves into shapes that don't fit in order to be accepted. But that's a lie. The truth is, you don't have to lose yourself to gain someone else's approval. The right people will come into your life when you stop pretending to be something you're not. They'll see the real you, and they'll respect you for it. And when you start respecting yourself enough to stop overcompensating, you'll find that the world opens up to you in ways you never imagined. So let me leave you with this: stop overcompensating. Stop trying to be someone you're not just to please others. Stop sacrificing your own happiness and peace for someone else's approval. Be real. Be authentic. Be unapologetically you. And when you do that, you'll find that the right people, the ones who truly see you for who you are, will start showing up in your life. You'll start living a life that's aligned with your true self, and everything else will fall into place. Respect yourself first. You hear that, but do you truly understand it? It's easy to say, but when you really look at your actions, how often do you actually put your own needs, desires, and boundaries above the expectations of others? It's so common to think that respect must come from external sources, that we need to earn it from others in order to feel validated. But here's the truth: respect begins with you. If you don't respect yourself, if you don't value your own time, your own boundaries, your own sense of self-worth, then no one else will either. And that's not a message that should be taken lightly, because how you view yourself is the foundation for everything in your life. If you don't set the standard for how you expect to be treated, you're leaving that responsibility in the hands of others. And when that happens, it's too easy to fall into the trap of letting other people dictate your value. Respect isn't about demanding things from people or forcing them to see your worth. It's about having a deep understanding of your own value, knowing what you bring to the table, and standing by that with confidence. It's about not allowing others to walk all over you or make you feel insignificant. It's about setting boundaries and being firm about them, even if it means disappointing someone in the process. When you respect yourself, you understand that your time, your energy, and your presence are precious. You stop giving them away to people who don't value them, and you stop allowing others to take from you without giving anything in return. It's about knowing when to say no and recognizing that doing so doesn't make you a bad person. It makes you a person who knows their worth. Think about it for a moment. How many times have you said yes when you really wanted to say no? How many times have you compromised your own happiness just to keep the peace or avoid conflict? How often do you bend your principles to fit in with someone else's idea of what's acceptable? These are signs that you haven't truly embraced self-respect. You've let external pressures dictate your actions, and as a result, you've diminished your own sense of self-worth. It's not enough to simply acknowledge your worth. It's about taking action, living with conviction, and upholding that respect every single day. Self-respect is about refusing to accept less than you deserve. Not because you're entitled, but because you understand that you have value and you're not going to settle for anything less than what reflects that value. When you respect yourself, you stop chasing after approval. You stop waiting for someone to give you permission to be great. You don't need validation from the outside world because your confidence comes from within. And let me tell you something that's a game changer, because when you stop relying on others to affirm your worth, that's when you start attracting the right people into your life, people who see you for who you truly are,